This is Steve Carlson coming to you live from the Hip Hop Fair. This is MPR. This is what it's come to. Al Franken is not here, but we got Elvis Presley or somebody. And Al Franken's not, there's not going to be any debates this year. Al has called it off. Today they featured a love fest between Amy Klobuchar and Mike Mulcahy. Let me show you the kind of facilities that we used last year. You can remember. Right up here is where you usually have your debates, but it's been announced officially by Mike Mulcahy, the news editor of MPR, that there will be no political debates for 2014. After all, as Keith Ellison says, it's not a presidential election year, and what they're going to do is try to get their Democrat base out. They're not going to inform the people. These are people who use congressional money, and all they do is have love fests for Democrats. I'm going to show you a little bit of what Amy Klobuchar had to say today, how she thinks it's going. But I think you're going to agree with me that this is not democracy. This is robbing America of its democracy. Now, in this first segment, you have Mike Mulcahy. Again, he's the news editor of Minnesota Public Radio, who has assaulted and obliterated the First Amendment during the heat of this election's campaign by replacing his own ideas and presenting Amy Klobuchar, who's not even running, to assault the Citizens United case and the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, which Amy admits she and Al are trying to repeal. Listen to this.
Senator, let me ask you just a quick question here, because as I mentioned before, you're not running for re-election this year. So
that would be correct, but I'm here with you anyway.
You can be
right
very
across from
Al won't show up in debate.
You can be very candid.
Oh yeah, because no one will ever keep track of what I say in this modern day of politics.
Well, you know, speaking of these modern day politics, now these candidates, and you've been through a couple of these campaigns now, they're going to go out and raise millions and millions of dollars and spend millions of dollars. So who are they beholden to, and who's calling the shots on these campaigns? Is it the big donors? Is it the consultants and the parties? How does that all work?
This money in politics is really a driving problem in our country, and I'll start back to that. And it's always been a problem for a while as we've gotten more and more money into the campaigns. We do have limits, so that that our campaign limits in individual races that are very helpful. Corporations can't give directly. You've got the fact that you've got limits for individuals of something like $5,000. And as you know, even I raised like $10 million, and the Senate race this year will raise much more. But the problem right now is that because of the Citizens United decision and another recent decision, we basically now have unlimited money coming in for these independent expenditures that you can't even track. You can't even know. So let's say I call around and get $1,000 from this person, $500 from this, call all day. I set an all-time Senate record in my first race, true story, Mike. I raised $17,000 from ex-boyfriends. I did. As my husband points out, it's not an expanding base. But let's say I keep doing all that. Well, you know what? What is that? That is a drop in the bucket if someone comes in, one millionaire, and can put $10 million against me. And that's the problem. It's taken away any real focus of these campaign limits. And that's why, as far-reaching as it sounds, and as difficult as it sounds, we need to make it transparent. That's not as difficult. We should be able to probably get something passed eventually with who gives what and when. But the other piece of this is to pass a constitutional amendment that basically overturns that Citizens United case.
No way.
However,
overreach.
Can
That's my question.
This negative money and
overreach.
negative ads coming in when even from one person can buy.
I know you want me up there, so I'll sit here.
Either side can do this. Either side can do this. And that's just wrong when you have a democracy where everyone is supposed to participate in the same way. So I think that's the major problem. I have always, as someone who's not personally wealthy, like some of these people that can literally fund their own campaign,
so repeal the First Amendment.
You have to raise money in the reality. But I would love to see a system like Minnesota.
Well, there you have it. You've got Amy Klobuchar sitting there with Mike Mulcahy. Now, Mike has a job working for the taxpayers of the United States of America because we want to make sure we have more information, more freedom of expression during the elections for Congress. This is why MPR exists. And what Mike is doing is shutting down the elections, and he is working with Amy Klobuchar, a sitting DFL senator, to try to repeal the First Amendment, to try to put in her hands and Al Franken's hands, Al Franken, who's raised $25 million of celebrity money. Okay, he's making a celebrity golf project or something out of our United States government. And they're trying to tear down the First Amendment and free and fair elections in the United States of America. You heard it here first on NPR. Unbelievable. Until the philosophy which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, until there are no longer first-class and second-class citizens of any nation, until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes. Until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race. Well, until that day, the dream of lasting peace, world citizenship, and the rule of international morality will remain but a fleeting illusion to be pursued but never attained.